Kakashi Hatake is one of the most emotionally complex characters in the Naruto series. Behind his cool demeanor, iconic mask, and borrowed Sharingan lies a man haunted by grief, loss, and a desperate need for redemption. From his early days as a prodigy to his rise as the 6th Hokage, Kakashi's journey is shaped by the mistakes of his past and his persistent loyalty to those he loves. Kakashi's early life and development as a person and ninja were heavily influenced by the legacy and actions of his father, Sakuma Hatake. Known as the White Fang of the Leaf, Sakuma was a ninja of legendary skill, reputed to be on par with the 3 legendary Sannin. However, his fall from grace plays a significant role in shaping Kakashi's worldview. When Kakashi was still a child, Sakuma made a choice that forever changed both of their lives. During a crucial mission, Sakuma chose saving his comrades over completing the task assigned to him, leading to the mission's failure. This act of compassion, placing his comrades above his duty, earned Sakuma an enormous amount of criticism and rejection from both his superiors and the very people that he had risked everything to protect. The emotional and psychological toll of this rejection proved too much for Sakuma, leading him to off himself. This was a turning point in Kakashi's life. Because of Sakuma's suicide, he was led to believe that ninja principles and mission loyalty came before relationships and personal emotions. During this crucial period of his life, Kakashi adopted a rigid black and white view of the world. He developed a cold, detached persona, focusing only on efficiency and success, and avoiding any kind of personal attachment. This was pretty much a defense mechanism he used to avoid the same humiliation and rejection that destroyed his father. Kakashi's talent as a ninja was apparent from a super young age. He graduated from the Ninja Academy at 5 years old, and his impressive skills earned him the status of Chunin by the age of 6. While other children were still beginning to learn the basics, Kakashi was already regarded as a prodigy. Kakashi's early achievements and success just made him feel more alone. He pushed away everybody who could have grown close to him, living according to the notion that the mission came first. This earned him a reputation for being distant, even cold among his peers. He often viewed others as weak or naive for their emotional attachments, using Sakuma's downfall as evidence of what happens when a ninja lets their emotions get in the way. This isolation was emphasized with the fact that Kakashi's classmates often couldn't keep up with his superior abilities and skills. He had no equal to challenge him and no peer that he could form a genuine bond with. This period of his life reflects a central theme that we see quite often in Naruto, the burden of being exceptional. I say this because while Kakashi was praised for his talents, these very talents isolated him, leaving him without any kind of emotional support system that his later students, like Naruto, would benefit from. His brilliance was a gift, but it also became a barrier between him and a normal, fulfilling childhood. Despite his cold demeanor, it's important to note that Kakashi did not lack emotional complexity. His strict adherence to rules and distancing himself from others was in many ways a shield. Deep down, Kakashi was still a boy who lost his father and was terrified of making mistakes. This fear of failure would haunt him throughout his life, even as he became one of the most respected shinobi in the world. Kakashi's first real experience with Teemo came when he was placed under the guidance of Minato Namikaze, who would later become the 4th Hokage. Alongside his teammates Obito and Rin, Kakashi was forced into a group dynamic that clashed with his mission-first mindset. Obito and Kakashi's relationship was particularly tense. Obito, a member of the Uchiha clan, was almost Kakashi's opposite in terms of personality. While Kakashi was rigid, cold, and efficient, Obito was emotional, brash, and idealistic. The two frequently butted heads, with Obito believing that a ninja's true strength came from protecting their comrades, while, as we know, Kakashi insisted that completing the mission was the only priority. Despite their differences, Obito and Rin would become one of the most significant relationships in Kakashi's life, but it was a relationship that was met with tragedy. During the Third Great Ninja War, the team was sent on a mission that would forever change Kakashi's life. In the middle of the mission, Obito was critically injured by falling debris while trying to save Kakashi. Realizing that the end was near, Obito gave Kakashi the ultimate gift, his Sharingan. This moment is perhaps one of the most important in Kakashi's life. Up until that point, Kakashi had been ruled by a belief in duty over friendship, but Obito's sacrifice forced him to question that ideology. Obito's parting words, "Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum," would haunt Kakashi for the rest of his life. That saying will always give me goosebumps. The Sharingan was more than just a powerful tool for Kakashi, it was a symbol of his emotional burden. What makes it even more impactful is Obito only just unlocked it a few minutes before his death, and he unlocked it trying to protect Kakashi. Every time Kakashi used the Sharingan, he was reminded of Obito's sacrifice and his own failure. The loss of Obito, combined with the weight of inheriting his friend's power, marked the beginning of Kakashi's inner struggle. From that point forward, he would constantly wrestle with his dual beliefs: the ninja who follows the rules, and the one who values human life. As if Obito wasn't enough, Kakashi's life was soon shaken by an even more traumatic event: the death of Rin. Rin had been captured by the Hidden Mist and transformed into the Three-Tails Jinchuriki. Realizing that she would become a threat to Konoha if left alive, Rin made a heartbreaking decision. She deliberately threw herself in front of Kakashi's Chidori during a battle, forcing him to kill her. The emotional weight of this was immeasurable. Kakashi blamed himself for Rin's death, and the psychological impact of her loss would leave a scar that never fully healed. Rin's death was potentially the final blow to Kakashi's belief in the ninja code. The very rules he had followed for so long had led him to this moment, where despite his best efforts, he couldn't save his friend. This deepened Kakashi's emotional isolation, emphasizing his belief that no matter how strong or skilled he became, he was ultimately powerless to protect those he cared about. This moment in Kakashi's life highlights one of the most tragic aspects of his character, his sense of helplessness. Despite his great power and talent, he felt as though he was cursed to always lose the people he loved. This negative view of his life would follow him into adulthood, affecting the way he approached future relationships, especially with his students. Following the deaths of Obito and Rin, Kakashi entered one of the darkest periods of his life. His growing disappointment in the shinobi world, combined with his immense guilt and trauma, led him to join the ANBU Black Ops, an elite unit of the Hidden Leaf Village that was tasked with executing high-risk and morally ambiguous missions. The ANBU represented a turning point for Kakashi. Under the mask of an ANBU operative, Kakashi's already hardened exterior became even colder. The nature of his missions, often involving assassinations, espionage, and morally grey tasks, further distanced him from his humanity. He became a weapon of the Hidden Leaf, following orders without question. This detachment was a coping mechanism, allowing Kakashi to bury the emotional pain he carried from his past. However, even in the darkness of the ANBU, Kakashi's true character would shine through. His leadership skills and unwavering loyalty to the Hidden Leaf earned him great respect within the ANBU ranks, but his missions often brought him to the point of emotional numbness. Yet, even during these missions, Kakashi demonstrated bits of empathy, struggling to suppress his moral compass. It was during this time that Kakashi also formed a bond with Itachi Uchiha, another prodigy who would go on to suffer arguably even more than Kakashi had. Their relationship was one of mutual respect, as both were forced to carry immense burdens from a young age. However, Kakashi was very aware of the parallels between Itachi's life and his own, and he often tried, unsuccessfully, to guide Itachi away from the same path of isolation and guilt that he had walked. The ANBU years were a time of eternal conflict for Kakashi. On the surface, he was an efficient, deadly assassin, but deep down, the pain of his past was festering. His time in the ANBU helped hone his skills and sharpen his already formidable intellect, but it also pushed him further away from the emotional connections he so desperately needed. Skipping forward, Kakashi's assignment as leader of Team 7 marked a significant turning point in his life. Guiding a new generation of shinobi allowed him to reflect on the lessons of his own life. And in teaching, Kakashi began the slow process of healing his emotional wounds. At first glance, Kakashi didn't appear to be the most motivated or emotionally engaged teacher. His initial meeting with Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura set the tone. He was cool, detached, and even somewhat condescending. He dismissed their introductions with little interest, and immediately demonstrated his vast superiority during the infamous bell test, easily outmaneuvering the inexperienced genin. Kakashi's tendency to distance himself from personal relationships was still strong at this point, and he made it clear that becoming a ninja was not just about raw talent, but about emotional maturity and teamwork. The bell test was Kakashi's way of sharing the lesson that had shaped his own life, the importance of teamwork over individual achievement. Having lost Rin and Obito to the consequences of prioritizing the mission, Kakashi wanted to ensure that his students would not repeat his mistakes. However, despite his good intentions, Kakashi's teaching methods were tough, and he did little to nurture the emotional bonds within the team at first. In the early stages, each member of Team 7 viewed Kakashi differently. To Naruto, he was a distant, mysterious figure who seemed unimpressed by his childish personality and eagerness to prove himself. Sasuke, on the other hand, saw Kakashi as a potential role model, especially due to Kakashi's Sharingan. Sasuke was initially unaware of the emotional scars behind Kakashi's stoic exterior, seeing him only as a powerful ninja with abilities that could help him achieve his goal of avenging his clan. Sakura, in contrast, felt somewhat ignored as Kakashi appeared to focus more on Naruto and Sasuke. She was absolutely right to feel this way. But as time passed, Kakashi's bond with Team 7 deepened, and his complex nature began to show. Kakashi was not just the detached cold sensei he appeared to be. Underneath, he cared deeply for his students, though he really showed it outright. As Team 7 faced greater and more dangerous challenges, Kakashi's protective nature emerged. His experience with loss made him cautious, and he did everything he could to ensure that his students wouldn't suffer the same fate as his former teammates. He was particularly protective of Naruto, whose loneliness and struggle for recognition mirrored his own sense of emotional isolation as a child. We saw this in full force during the Land of Waves arc. The dynamic between Kakashi and Sasuke is particularly noteworthy though. Having lost his entire clan, Sasuke was driven by a thirst for revenge against his brother Itachi. Kakashi also saw glimpses of his younger self in Sasuke. Both had been consumed by an overwhelming need to prove themselves and fulfill a sense of duty. Kakashi, understanding the dangerous path of revenge and the emotional toll it took on a person, did everything he could to discourage Sasuke. He warned Sasuke that revenge would only lead to emptiness, a lesson Kakashi had learned through his own experiences with loss. He tried to show Sasuke that power without purpose would only lead to destruction. Sasuke, blinded by his quest for vengeance, could not fully understand the message. The Chunin exams became a pivotal moment in Kakashi's mentorship of Sasuke. Seeing his potential, Kakashi took him under his wing and taught him to use Chidori, a powerful lightning-based jutsu that Kakashi had created himself. The Chidori was not just a technique, it was a symbol of the burden Kakashi carried from his past, as it was the same move he used when Rin tragically died. By teaching Sasuke this move, Kakashi was not only passing on the skill, but also a piece of his personal history. However, Kakashi was also keenly aware that Sasuke's desire for power mirrored his own youthful ambition, and he feared that Sasuke was falling into the same trap that had claimed so many others in Kakashi's life. Unfortunately, despite Kakashi's best efforts, Sasuke ultimately chose to pursue the path of vengeance, leaving Konoha to seek power from Orochimaru. This decision was a significant failure in Kakashi's eyes, and it weighed heavily on him. He blamed himself for not being able to guide Sasuke away from the darkness, viewing Sasuke's going rogue as a reflection of his own past failures to protect those he cared about. This event marked a low point in Kakashi's journey as a sensei, reinforcing the idea that no matter how hard he tried, he was destined to fail the people he loved. Also, I have to highlight how good the scene is between Kakashi and Sasuke when Sasuke is tied to the tree and says, "Goosebumps every time." While Kakashi's relationship with Sasuke was full of tension and tragedy, his bond with Naruto evolved into one of mutual respect and admiration. In the beginning, Kakashi saw Naruto as a loud, reckless, and immature boy, one who lacked the discipline and finesse needed to be a successful shinobi. However, as time passed, Naruto's persistence, determination, and innate sense of loyalty began to win Kakashi over. One of Kakashi's greatest strengths as a sensei was his ability to see the potential where others did not. Despite Naruto's early clumsiness and lack of skill, Kakashi recognized the same raw potential that his own sensei Minato had once seen in him. He saw in Naruto the same hope and idealism that Obito had embodied before his fall into darkness. Naruto's undying belief in protecting his friends and never giving up reminded Kakashi of his late friend, and as a result, he became deeply invested in Naruto's development. Kakashi's teaching style with Naruto was tough but nurturing. He never went easy on Naruto, knowing that his path would be filled with challenges far beyond the typical life of a ninja. Instead, Kakashi pushed Naruto to his limits, helping him not only learn advanced jutsu, but also critical lessons about leadership, patience, and self-discipline. One of the most significant moments in their relationship occurred after Naruto mastered the Rasengan, a jutsu created by Kakashi's own sensei, Minato. While Kakashi didn't teach Naruto the Rasengan, it still became a symbol of the legacy passed down through generations, connecting Naruto, Kakashi, Minato, and Jiraiya, who was Minato's sensei and the person who actually taught Naruto the Rasengan. Kakashi's pride in Naruto's accomplishments was not just as a teacher, but also as a man who saw in Naruto the potential to break the cycle of loss and suffering that had plagued his own life. Through their many missions together, Kakashi came to see Naruto as not just a student, but as a true friend and comrade. Naruto's unshakable optimism, even in the face of overwhelming odds, inspired Kakashi in ways he had not expected. While Kakashi had always been a sensible and fairly cynical figure, Naruto's hope and determination rekindled a sense of purpose and belief in him. Naruto, in turn, saw Kakashi not only as a teacher, but as a father figure, someone who understood the pain of loss but continued to fight for what was right. One of the most pivotal moments in Kakashi's life came during the Pain Invasion arc. He found himself in the middle of the chaos, fighting to protect the village that he had sworn to defend. This battle was not just a physical confrontation, but also a test of Kakashi's resolve and his willingness to sacrifice everything for the greater good. As one of Konoha's strongest shinobi, Kakashi played a critical role in the defense of the village. He faced off against Pain's Devapath, displaying incredible skill and strategy in the battle. His mastery of the Sharingan combined with his lightning style jutsu made him a formidable opponent, but Pain's godlike abilities were beyond anything Kakashi had ever encountered. Despite his best efforts, Kakashi found himself overwhelmed. In the final moments of the battle, he made a decision that summed up his entire life philosophy. He used the last of his strength to protect his comrades. In his dying moments, he reflected on his life, thinking of his father, his friends, and his students. For Kakashi, death was not something to be feared. He had lived his life in service of others, and he was at peace with the idea of sacrificing himself for the village. After his death, he entered the afterlife and reunited with his father, the man he had struggled to forgive for so long. In this brief but impactful moment, Kakashi found closure, finally releasing the guilt and pain tied to his father's tragic death, and they shared a peaceful conversation that healed old wounds. Did I cry during this scene? Of course I did, obviously. However, his death was not the end. Thanks to Naruto's intervention and the actions of Nagato, Kakashi was brought back to life along with the other fallen shinobi of Konoha. This experience had a huge impact on Kakashi. Having come face to face with death, he came back to life with a renewed sense of purpose. He had been given a second chance, not just to live, but to continue guiding the next generation and ensuring that the mistakes of the past were not repeated. I can't mention the conclusion of the pain arc without mentioning my favorite scene in the entire show. When Kakashi catches Naruto on his back and says, "Just lean on me." Then after a while of carrying Naruto, he says to himself, "He's gotten heavier," which is an ode to him carrying Naruto when he was much younger. That scene makes me tear up every single time I see it. Kakashi's leadership and combat prowess were put to the ultimate test during the Fourth Great Ninja War. As one of the key commanders of the allied shinobi, Kakashi played a critical role in organizing and leading various ninja squads against the combined threat of Obito Uchiha, reanimated legendary shinobi like Madara Uchiha, and the resurrected Ten Tails. The war was a monumental moment for Kakashi. Not only was he facing some of the most powerful enemies the shinobi world had ever seen, but he was also forced to confront the ghosts of his past. The reappearance of Obito, now an enemy of the Leaf, was a devastating revelation for Kakashi. The friend he believed was dead for so long was now a villain intent on destroying the world that he had sworn to protect. The battle between Kakashi and Obito is one of the most emotionally charged moments in the series. It was not just a physical fight, but a confrontation of ideologies. Obito, once an idealistic and hopeful boy, had been twisted by loss and hatred. Kakashi, on the other hand, had spent his life grappling with the same pain, but had ultimately chosen to continue fighting for his comrades and his village. The battle represented the clash between two paths, one of despair and one of hope. In the end, Kakashi's resolve was enough to see him win, and better yet, Obito joined the allied shinobi. Kakashi's role in the war finalized with his participation in the final battle against Kaguya Otsutsuki. When all seemed lost, Kakashi was granted a temporary boost in power from Obito's spirit, allowing him to use both of Obito's Monkey-Go Sharingan. With his newfound strength, Kakashi played a pivotal role in the defeat of Kaguya, once again proving his value, not only as a warrior, but as a leader who could rise to any challenge. And he showed us one of the sickest Susanoo we've seen. And yes, I am biased. In the light novel, Kakashi Hiden, Lightning in the Icy Sky, Kakashi is shown grappling with his sense of responsibility and identity following the loss of his Sharingan after the Fourth Shinobi War. Nearly a year after the war, he finds himself questioning whether he's still capable of fulfilling the duties of Hokage. Kakashi's journey in the novel highlights his inner conflict, believing that without his Sharingan, he's not fit to take on the Hokage mantle. However, despite this, he remains a vital and strategic leader, taking on a crucial mission to protect the Tobisha Chimaru, an airborne ship central to revolutionizing the transportation industry in the Land of Waves. Throughout the novel, Kakashi encounters challenges that force him to rely on his intelligence, new techniques, and an innate ability to connect with others. With his confrontation with Ryo and Kaio, siblings who lead the Ryuha Armament Alliance, reflects his deep understanding of loss and the burden of duty. Kakashi's empathy is evident in his ability to relate to Kaio, who had lost his son due to consequences of the war. Even as Kakashi engages her in battle, he tries to convince her that vengeance will not change the past, a sentiment stemming from his own experience of loss and survivor's guilt. This introspective arc in the novel showcases how Kakashi, though evolving beyond his role as a combat-focused ninja, continues to lead with compassion, wisdom, and resilience, even as he struggles with his post-war identity. The novel really shows how Kakashi has come full circle, from the cold prodigy who did not care for relationships and only fought with efficiency, to a man who no longer has a large skill gap over others and has to appeal to the emotions of his enemy and show empathy towards them. After the war, Kakashi was named the 6th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, a role that had been teased for so long, but was only fully realized after the Fourth Great Ninja War had concluded. As Hokage, Kakashi was not just a warrior or a teacher, he was another protector of the entire village. responsible for guiding Konoha into a new era of peace and prosperity. Kakashi's time as Hokage was marked by his calm, pragmatic approach to leadership. Unlike some of his predecessors, he accepted the mantle of Hokage out of a sense of duty. His reign was also notable for his willingness to trust the younger generation, who he saw as the future of the village. Kakashi's decision to step down as Hokage and pass the role to Naruto was a reflection of his belief in the next generation. Where Kakashi had once been burdened by the mistakes of his past, he now looked to the future with hope and confidence. He may not have been the strongest Hokage, but he did play his part in settling and growing the village before handing the torch over. As the sixth Hokage, Kakashi leaves a legacy of wisdom, calm strength, and a reminder that true power lies in the bonds we share with others, inspiring fans worldwide. I too hope to inspire fans worldwide, so please do subscribe. Thank you for watching this Glaze sesh. Please do like the video, please do leave a comment, anything, even if it's a shit one, and I'll see you next week.